Murabaha, Mode of Islamic Finance.
Murabaha is a kind of sale transaction where the seller is obliged to reveal the cost incurred in obtaining the commodity as well as the declaration of the added profit. In short, it is a cost plus profit sale transaction. All this information are disclosed to the client or buyer of the commodity because transparency is of utmost importance in this arrangement. To be much more specific as to how this financing works, the bank will purchase the desired commodity from a third party and sell it to the customer for a pre-agreed price that includes the markup as a way for the bank to earn.
These are the key features of Murabaha. Murabaha has been derived from Arabic word riba, which means profit, can be denoted as markup or cost plus financing or sale on profit. It is not a loan that has an interest rate, but it is a sale of asset for cash sale or credit sale or combination of both. It must meet all the requirements for legitimate sale. It has fixed price sale and normally done for short term. This agreement is done within an Islamic bank where a customer purchases an asset from a third-party supplier sold for immediate payment or deferred payment basis. There are 6 stages for each transaction that must be executed, which will be discussed further. Seller is obligated to make the buyer know the amount of profit and cost, which means cost price of goods plus seller profit equals sale price of goods. Buyback arrangement is prohibited since this cannot be executed because of how it was already purchased by the client. For asset, the fact the commodity was brought from a third party is also a requirement for the validity of Murabaha.
Moving on to the stages of Murabaha. The customer will approach the bank and promises to make a purchase. He or she will request the bank to purchase identified assets, then the bank goes to the supplier to make the payment. Then, the supplier supplies the goods. The bank will then enter into a Murabaha contract with the customer. The bank adds profit margin into the Murabaha contract, explicitly mentioning the amount. The bank will be delivering the goods and the customer will be making either immediate or deferred payment.
The conditions of Murabaha. First is the product and selling price. The product, the quantity, type, and other descriptions should be described clearly, while the cost and profit are important to disclose properly. Second, the contracting parties. The seller is responsible to supply the product that the buyer ordered, while the buyer customer is obligated to pay amount for the ordered product as stated by the terms of the agreement. Third, offer and acceptance. The price of the good in which the seller obtained must be measured by weight, volume, or number of goods. Fourth, no riba trading shall be involved. The profit prohibited about the traded product that it cannot involve or paid by a system of barter from ribawi items. It is important to be measured and calculated equal. Fifth, the initial contract must be valid because according to the Sharia requirements, the traded item or the property must be lawfully owned by the seller.
Key difference: Murabaha versus conventional loan. A question may be raised that selling goods on profit under Murabaha and charging interest on the loan as per the practice of conventional banks appears to be one of the same things and also produces the same results. The answer to this query is that there is a clear difference between the mechanisms or the structure of the product. The key difference lies in the contract being utilized. Murabaha is a sale contract, whereas the conventional loan is an interest-based lending agreement and transaction. Under a Murabaha agreement, the bank sells a commodity for profit where both the original cost and profit are disclosed to the buyer. This is a trade activity declared halal or valid in the Islamic Sharia. On the other hand, advancing loans and credit and charging interest thereupon is a pure interest-based transaction which is declared as haram or prohibited by Sharia.
Murabaha has become well-known and extensively used in Islamic financial institutions, considering the modern setup of the banking system. Murabaha, as a mode of financing, intends to offer various products and cater the needs of their clients, in which all the conditions governing the transaction are strictly followed. As to the application of Murabaha in today's generation, the MPO or Murabaha to purchase order is preferably used by the prevalent Islamic banks. banks, wherein the preceding promise or purchase becomes the basis of the contract. This has become more captivating and popular because of some factors that are taken into account. One factor that they consider is banks are not traders. That is why they are not permitted to engage in trading as a core business venture involving greater commodity risk.
Lastly is the common issues in Murabaha. First is the securities against Murabaha, where the payments are receivables and the client may be asked by the bank to furnish a security. Second is guaranteeing the Murabaha, where the seller can ask the client to furnish a third-party guarantee. If default on payment, the guarantor will be liable to pay the amount guaranteed to him, and there are two issues relating to this. Third is the penalty for default. If the client defaults in payment of the price on the due date, the additional price cannot be changed nor can penalty fees be charged. Fourth is Murabaha transaction cannot be rolled over for a further period once the old contract ends. And last on the list is rebate on early payments, where paying earlier than maturity date to get discounts is considered by majority of Muslim scholars to be un-Islamic.
That will be it for the Finance in Asia Murabaha mode of Islamic financing. Thank you for listening and God bless.